This is the real Tom Rose. And in this sentence, we appear to have a subject-verb agreement issue. So the subject of at least the second clause, people observe that the thoughtful consumer, that's the subject, right? After everything before that is its own clause. Thoughtful consumer buys, here's the verb. We want singular, singular. Consumer is singular, buys is singular. So the first two are okay in that regard. Buying is not a verb that would match a noun subject. You would say the thoughtful consumer is buying. That would work. It doesn't have that, though. That turns this into a modifier. And what ends up happening is there's no verb. So that's also a verb issue. Buy is actually plural. Remember that in English, American English, plural verbs typically have no S. So this is a plural verb. And we have the same problem in the last one. Buy is plural. It's a plural verb. So these are all wrong. Now, the rest of this is actually quite insidious. If you got this far, you did a good job. The rest of this is very challenging. We're actually creating a comparison between the author's intent, anyways, to create a comparison between the thoughtful consumer and individuals shopping impulsively. Right? Now, in the first case, we have the thoughtful consumer buys fewer cheaply made articles of clothing than does the impulsive individual. So we're actually comparing what the thoughtful consumer buys to what the impulsive individual does or buys. That is a correct comparison. You want to compare either people and people or actions and actions. You don't want to mix it. In the second choice, notice how this is broken. We have the thoughtful consumer buys fewer cheaply made articles of clothing than individuals shopping impulsively. This doesn't have a verb. It would be correct if it said than individuals shopping impulsively do. It doesn't have that. So what ends up happening is it's not clear whether, let me show it shows with a new color. It's not clear whether we're comparing the thoughtful consumer to the individuals it's not clear whether the thoughtful consumer buys fewer cheaply made articles of clothing than they buy individuals shopping impulsively, right? It sounds as though this could mean the thoughtful consumer is buying individuals shopping impulsively. And that doesn't make any sense, right? So when you put the do on it, now it becomes clear that we're comparing what thoughtful consumers buy to what individuals shopping impulsively buy, right? So you need to have a verb on here somewhere. And this is a comparison error. And the correct one will be the top choice.